WBA, IBF, and IBO 175-pound light heavyweight champion of the world is 49 years old. 55, 6-2, 32 knockouts. The Bernard, the Alien Hopkins. 10 years ago this month, Bernard Hopkins defeated Oscar De La Hoya in the 160-pound tournament at a catchweight of 156 pounds, and then he went on, and to be the last reigning undisputed champion of the world. That means you got the WBC, the WBA, the WBO, and the IBF titles. The last person to hold all those titles or even come close to it right now, Vladimir Klitschko, Bermane Stiverne, Deontay Wilder. Right now, those three guys are in the mix of being an undisputed champion. The last person to do that was Jermaine Taylor, okay, after he beat Bernard Hopkins. But Bernard Hopkins was the last reigning one. So you got this 49-year-old man, beating these younger men and just taking them to school. At 49, you're missing what I'm saying. To put things in perspective, I turned 31 just a few days ago. Right now it's September the 3rd, 2014, August the 29th, I turned 31. My father is younger than Bernard the Executioner Hopkins. Not by much, but he's young. And what I'm saying is, when I think about, when I was at the, for example, I went to the press conference, the first initial press conference, roundtable debate discussion for Bernard Hopkins versus Sergey Kovalev. It was in the Leocore Center in Philadelphia, and this is the first fight where I will provide full extensive coverage. So I'll do predictions. I have interviews from both fighters. I'm going to be posting them on. I still got some more to post. I'm going to be going to the weigh-in, the final press conference, the fight, the post-fight press conference. Then I'll be sprinkling in predictions all through there. So right now, where we are is one day after the guys have their first face-off, and there is no bad blood. These guys are just selling the fight as far as, doing them. You got Bernard Hopkins just, going all extraterrestrial on us as far as, just talking. You really got to pay attention because you don't know what he's talking about, but you're kind of getting it. You're getting kind of what he's saying, but you really don't know what's going on. And on the other end, you got Sergey Kovalev is just happy to be on the stage, and he's hearing for the first time that he is being looked at as being the favorite. Now, in order to get to a little bit of controversy here, we have to talk about the things that I've been known for, and the things I've been known for is, with my reporting style, I talk about the things that others want to talk about or the major networks cannot talk about. We have to talk about the fact that we have a 50-year-old man getting in there against, how old is Kovalev? I think Kovalev is 28, and he has once killed a man in the ring, not intentionally. But, with boxing being such a brutal sport that it is, and these boxers will tell you all the time, like, listen, I don't want to be getting hurt, and getting brain damage. A fighter by the name of Makumad Abdusalamov fought Mike Perez earlier this year, and he will never be the same. He's missing a piece of his brain. And, blessings out to his family, and blessings out to the family of the fighter that Sergey Kovalev fought, and he ended up not making it home that night. So what I'm trying to say is that if Bernard Hopkins accomplished this, and I asked Bernard himself and Oscar De La Hoya, how does beating a Kovalev at this age, and it's not the exact question, but how does Hopkins beating Kovalev at this age match up against Mayweather's resume of being undefeated? And then also factor in, what if he beats Adonis Stevenson too? He'll be 50 years old, going on 51, and he'll be the undisputed champion of the world, WBC, WBA, WBO, IBF, IBO champion of the world, and he can retire off of that. And then he'll be doing it at the age of 50 years old. So what I'm trying to say to you is that that's a feat that most likely will never be accomplished. Like I said, right now, the only other three people that are close to becoming an undisputed champion are the winner of Bermane Stiverne, Deontay Wilder. Vladimir Klitschko has the WBO, WBA, IBF, and the IBO, and he wants his big brother Vitaly's WBC belt back, because remember, Vitaly Klitschko retired the WBC champion to go work in Ukraine, and it's all over the news about what's going on with Ukraine, and the crash and the in Russia. You can go check out Into the Arena for that. But what I'm saying is this: if we look at not just the two fighters, but look at outside of the fight, and as far as the man is 49. All the belts that are involved, and and this, and not to mention with the level of competition, that alone for any fighter is a lot. So I'm predicting Bernard Hopkins to win. Of course, Sergey Kovalev, he's saying he wants to box. He's not going for the knockout. I'll upload that. But also, he said if it goes past the 8th round, then he's going for the knockout. Now, I asked the question of Sergey Kovalev. If you don't know, he hasn't been past the 8th round, and the only 8th round he's been past, only 8th round he's been to was with Darnell Boone, and we all know how that went. So I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. Bernard Hopkins has never been knocked out before. Bernard Hopkins has a chin, but Bernard Hopkins did get rocked by Jean Pascal when Nassim Richardson was in the corner telling him, like, don't go to sleep. And Bernard Hopkins in the corner. I'm like, oh, shit. B-Hop hurt. He was like 46 at the time or something. So now I'm thinking he's going up against a guy who's 25-0-1 with 23 knockouts. And he's been knocking out everybody before the 8th round. So we got this 49-year-old man once again going up in there against this monster. And I'm thinking to myself, like, people say they don't want to see this fight. People have been talking about Bernard Hopkins has been born for years. But if you look at Bernard Hopkins' last 3 fights, Beibut Shumenov, Tavoris Cloud, and Karo Marat, excitement, and not only because of the spectacle of him being so old, the spectacle of the fact that, wow, he's still good. No matter what you say about him outside the ring, he's still good, and he's always in shape. He was in shape yesterday. He can make weight right there, and that's a lot of things. You don't see that in a lot of boxers these days. A boxer will weigh in at 175, but he'd be walking around like 200-something pounds. Right now, Amir Khan is walking around like at 180 or something. All right, but moving on. How is Kovalev going to win? Knockout. He's not going to beat B-Hop on the cards. He's got to put B-Hop down, and yes, B-Hop went down against Shumenov, but he's got to knock B-Hop out. Now, Bernard Hopkins, he has to do what Sean Porter did what Kell Brook did to Sean Porter, and people didn't like it. And they said it was holding, but it was called neutralizing the offense. Sergey Kovalev has a robotic, machine-like straight to the body and to the top. When I say machine-like, it's mechanical, and I'm not saying mechanical in a wrong way. I'm saying that it's so precise and it hits you exactly where it's supposed to hit you. So he's not a guy that's going to be jabbing you in uppercuts, and he's a guy that you can maybe later on, just like Adonis Stevenson a little bit, calling okay, he's got one main punch. Take that away from him, like Manny Pacquiao. Take that left hand away from him. It's like, what else is there? So Bernard Hopkins is going to have to take that right hand away. Simple as that. And if Bernard Hopkins can take that right hand away, he can deal with everything else. Kovalev has already stated, briefly in the past, or alluded to the fact that making 175, is somewhat of an issue to him. But we don't know how that plays into it now. He looks good, but I'm saying, is this the end of his reign at 175 pounds? Like, is he killing himself? Like, example, if he was to lose, would he say, yeah, I'm going to move up the cruiserweight? That's what I'm trying to get to. But, like I said, I got Bernard Hopkins winning. I'm going to be at the fight. I don't really want to, honestly, I'll be honest with you, I really don't want to go to the fight because I want to watch the fight and then do my video and then go to the post-fight press conference. Like, okay, I'll tell you. Yesterday I went down there. The press conference was it started at 10 a.m. Media had to be there at 9:30 a.m. I found out about it at about 4 a.m. So I was like, oh, I'm going down there. People think it's a game. So, I've been talking for a long time about how, yeah, interviews is easy. I can go and get them. You can just get down there. I got the numbers, blah, blah, blah. So I was saying, well, kicking off my channel, also a birthday gift to myself and also a good way to start off my new year. And I'll be honest with you, I told everybody before. I went to rehab for alcohol on August the 28th, 2013, and I got out on, I went to rehab on August the 21st, 2013, got out on August the 28th, 2013, and I said, okay, that was one day before my birthday. I said, okay, I'm going to give myself a whole year, and then after that year, I'm going to make sure I'm clean and sober, and I'm going to live my life the way I want to, and I'm going to get shit together. So, before, even though I was getting all the views and everything, it was like, yo, like, you know, nobody gonna take you serious if you drinking. So what I did was I cleaned my shit up, and I have all the videos to prove it. And pretty much now I got a channel that's on my own, 4,000 plus. We're doing good over here. So now it's time for me to, as I said in previous videos, to start walking the walk. So I told all y'all, yeah, I can get to the interviews and all that. And people are like, well, you ain't do it. You ain't get no interviews, nothing. And I just want to do things on my own time. You know, I understand I owe y'all guys, you know, like what I say I'm going to do, but I had to do it all on my own time. Simple as that. So as I said, this is going to be the first fight I'm going to be providing full coverage for. The press conferences, the weigh-in, the post-fight press conference, the fight, predictions, interviews. And for my first interview, I got to say thank you to Oscar De La Hoya, even though, you know, there's that situation with, but for the most part, Oscar De La Hoya is still my favorite boxer and idol inside of the ring, because why? He represents a generation, or represented a generation that Bernard Hopkins is one of the last of, but Saul Canelo Alvarez is trying to hold on of fighting everybody no matter what. You know, so Oscar De La Hoya, all the way from when he, you know, all from when he choked himself to make that weight for Manny Pacquiao, to all the way when he went all the way up to where he was supposed to be at fighting at 160 against Bernard Hopkins. So what I'm saying is that to be able to get an interview from somebody who went through a similar situation with me, he went to rehab. Okay, what happened was I got out of rehab, and then Oscar De La Hoya went to rehab. So I'm thinking like, damn, it inspired me a little bit, because I'm thinking like, well, you know, he's a multi-millionaire and all that. You know, we know he had problems. He's a Hall of Fame fighter. But then I was like, well, you know, if he's at the top of his game, everybody, you know, everybody has issues. For example, people don't know Denzel Washington went to rehab a couple years ago. He went partying for his birthday or some shit, started smoking a bunch of weed, you know, started drinking, and, you know, and he did it for like a month. I think he went to like an island, or I think it was on his yacht. But what I'm saying is, on my level, you tell people you go to rehab, you know, they're like, oh, he's drunk. But, you know, that's why I said, me being a person I am, I gotta show these people I'm not playing around. So I have my credentials. I'll have my full credentials very soon. And as far as the press conferences of any fight along the East Coast, and I'm talking about DC, New York, you know, Jersey, Philly, you know, all along this area of the East Coast, you know, and I would maybe even go as far as Cincinnati, you know, but as far as, you know, the East Coast is concerned, I will be attending about one press conference event. No, basically, I'll be giving full coverage for one event a month. So, but I'm going to start that in November with the Beehive fight. So September and October, you got your September. I went to September the second interview. I mean, I went to the September second thing yesterday and got all that stuff. So I'm gonna do another one in November when I actually got to go to the Hopkins stuff. So the next Hopkins, the next Beehive event I'm going to be at is most likely going to be his opening workouts in Philly or the media day event. But I'm T Street Controversy. I call the show T Street Controversy Live. I'm working with Real Combat Media. The link is right below. All my videos, you know, and official boxing articles and official interviews with boxers are right down below. Please subscribe. I'm going to continue to do a couple more videos a day, and I'm so tired. This has been a long week, man. And I want to thank you for your support. T Street Controversy Live.